When Camila's fiancé Trevor publicly humiliates her at their own engagement party, her world shatters in front of hundreds of guests. But fate has other plans when she meets Gabriel Montenegro, a mysterious billionaire CEO with a shocking proposition. Beautiful souls. Tonight's story will take you on a journey where hearts are tested and destinies collide. So let's begin this tale together. The crystal chandeliers of the Grand Meridian Hotel cast rainbow prisms across the marble floor as Camila Rodriguez adjusted her emerald silk dress one final time. The ballroom hummed with anticipation, filled with Chicago's elite celebrating what should have been the beginning of her fairy tale, her engagement party. 3 years of carefully planned perfection, all leading to this moment. She pressed her palm against her stomach, trying to calm the inexplicable anxiety that had been building all week. Trevor Hamilton, her fiancé, stood across the room, schmoozing with investors. His golden hair perfectly styled, his charming smile working its usual magic. But those late-night phone calls, the hushed conversations that stopped when she entered, rooms, the way his blue eyes seemed to look through her lately rather than at her. "You look radiant, Mia," her mother whispered, appearing at her elbow with champagne flutes. "Trevor is so lucky to have found you." Camila forced a smile, accepting the glass with trembling fingers. The bubbles tickled her throat, but couldn't wash away the bitter taste of doubt that had been growing stronger each day. "Has anyone seen Trevor?" she asked Lucia Martinez, her best friend since college, who approached with an expression that seemed carefully controlled. "I think he stepped outside for air," Lucia replied, her dark eyes avoiding contact. "Maybe check the garden terrace." The marble felt cold beneath Camila's heels as she navigated through the crowd of familiar faces, each offering congratulations that felt increasingly hollow. The glass doors to the terrace opened with a soft whoosh, and cool evening air kissed her heated skin. Then she heard them, 2 voices drifting up from the garden below, intimate and conspiratorial. "This charade has gone on long enough," Trevor's voice carried clearly in the night air. "I can't keep pretending with Camila when all I want is you." Camila's champagne glass slipped from her numb fingers, shattering against the stone terrace. Below, hidden behind ornamental hedges, she could make out 2 silhouettes locked in an embrace that should have been hers. "But what about the engagement party?" The female voice belonged to someone Camila recognized from Trevor's business circles. "All these people came to celebrate." "Let them celebrate," Trevor laughed, the sound cold and calculating. "I'll deal with Camila later. It's been useful for my business connections, but I need someone who can elevate my public profile. Someone young, influential, and beautiful. Like you." The world tilted on its axis. 3 years of supporting his career, believing in their future, planning their wedding, all of it built on lies. Camila backed away from the terrace, her breathing shallow, her vision blurring. She could process the devastation fully. Trevor's voice boomed through the ballroom speakers behind her. "Ladies and gentlemen, I have an important announcement to make." The ballroom fell silent as Trevor's voice carried through the microphone, each word a dagger to Camila's heart. She rushed back inside, her face pale, but her spine straight. Wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing her crumble. "I know this comes as a surprise," Trevor continued, his arm sliding around the waist of Victoria Sterling, a rising social media star with platinum blonde hair and calculating eyes. "But sometimes love finds us when we least expect it." Camila stood frozen near the back of the room, watching 3 years of her life disintegrate in real time. Her mother's face crumpled in confusion, her father's jaw clenched with barely contained rage. Phones emerged like vultures, recording every second of her humiliation. "Victoria and I have fallen deeply in love," Trevor announced with practiced charm. "We've decided to be together, and I hope you'll all understand that sometimes the heart wants what the heart wants." The crowd erupted in shocked whispers. Camila felt hundreds of eyes turning toward her, waiting for her to break, to cry, to make a scene. Instead, she stepped forward. "Trevor!" she called out, her voice cutting through the chaos like steel through silk. The crowd parted as she walked toward the stage, her chin raised defiantly. "How thoughtful of you to make this announcement at our engagement party." His confident smile wavered slightly. "Camila, I was going to talk to you privately. No, she interrupted, her voice carrying clearly through the silent room. You decided to humiliate me in front of everyone we know instead. How very like you to take the coward's way out. Victoria stepped forward, her phone already recording. Sometimes people grow apart, Camila. Trevor and I didn't plan this, but we can't deny our connection. Connection? Camila repeated, a bitter smile curving her lips. Is that what we're calling cheating now? She turned to address the crowd, her voice strong and clear. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm sorry your time was wasted on a man who apparently can't tell the difference between love and publicity stunts. She walked out of the ballroom with her head held high, leaving behind the whispers, the cameras, and the fragments of her broken dreams. 3 weeks later, the humiliation video had gone viral. Betrayed bride speaks out, and love triangle drama headlines followed her everywhere. Camila threw herself into her work at Martinez and Associates Marketing, using the Barcelona business conference as her chance to rebuild. She stood in the conference hall wearing a sharp black suit that commanded respect, her dark hair pulled into a professional bun, designer sunglasses hiding the exhaustion in her eyes. Camila Rodriguez, Martinez, and Associates, she introduced herself to potential clients, her smile bright and practiced despite the storm raging inside. I know who you are. The deep, accented voice made her turn. She found herself face to face with the most dangerously attractive man she had ever encountered. Tall and broad-shouldered, he had dark hair, piercing green eyes, and a presence that seemed to bend the very air around him. Gabriel Montenegro, he said, extending his hand. His grip was firm, warm, and sent an unexpected jolt through her entire body. CEO of Montenegro Industries, Camila's breath caught. Everyone knew Gabriel Montenegro. The 35-year-old billionaire had built his empire from nothing, becoming one of the most powerful and ruthlessly efficient men in international commerce. He was also notoriously private, a phantom who rarely appeared at public events. Mr. Montenegro, she replied professionally, though her pulse quickened at his proximity. I'm surprised to meet you here. I thought you avoided these conferences. I do, he said, his green eyes studying her face with an intensity that made her feel exposed. But sometimes exceptions must be made, particularly when there's something specific I want to acquire. The way he said acquire sent a shiver down her spine that had nothing to do with fear. Walk with me, Gabriel said, his hands settling on her lower back with a possessiveness that should have alarmed her, but instead sent heat racing through her veins. He guided her away from the crowded conference hall to a quieter corridor lined with floor-to-ceiling windows. I saw the news, he said directly, no trace of pity in his voice. Your ex-fiancé made quite the spectacle. Camila stiffened. I prefer not to discuss my personal life during business hours. Good. Gabriel smiled, and the transformation was devastating. Because I'm about to make you a business proposition that will solve both our problems. They stopped near a massive window overlooking Barcelona's skyline. Gabriel turned to face her, his expression deadly serious. I need a girlfriend, he said bluntly. Someone intelligent, beautiful, and sophisticated. Someone who can navigate high society without being impressed by money or intimidated by power. Camila blinked in surprise. Excuse me? My board of directors thinks I'm too focused on work. Gabriel's voice was matter-of-fact, as if discussing a corporate merger. They want to see me settled, stable. It affects their confidence in long-term investments. You need to rebuild your public image after that disaster with Trevor Hamilton. Are you suggesting some kind of arrangement? Camila asked, her mind racing. I'm proposing a mutually beneficial contract, Gabriel said, pulling out his phone with the efficiency of a predator. 6 months. You pose as my girlfriend at social events, business dinners, charity galas. In return, you receive a generous monthly payment, access to my social circle, and the chance to rebuild your reputation as the woman who caught Gabriel Montenegro. Camila stared at him in disbelief. You're serious. Completely. He stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. Think about it, Camila. While Trevor Hamilton plays house with his social media starlet, you'll be photographed on the arm of one of the world's most eligible bachelors. Media will forget about your humiliation and focus on your upgrade. And what makes you think I'd agree to such a cold, calculating arrangement? Gabriel's eyes darkened. Because you're angry? Because you want revenge? Because you're smart enough to recognize an opportunity when it presents itself? He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. And because you feel it too. This. Electricity between us. Her breath hitched as his fingers brushed her wrist, sending sparks up her arm. You're arrogant. I'm honest, he countered. I don't believe in love, Camila. I believe in strategic partnerships, mutual benefit, and getting what I want right now. I want you. The raw honesty in his voice made her knees weak. This is insane. Sanity is overrated, Gabriel said, his thumb tracing across her pulse, point where her heart hammered against her skin. What's your answer? Before she could respond, her phone buzzed with a notification. Trevor's engagement announcement with Victoria had just hit the entertainment news cycle, complete with photos of them kissing and quotes about finding true love. Gabriel watched her face change as she read, his expression unreadable. 6 months, he repeated softly. Make him regret ever letting you go. Camila looked up at him, this dangerous, beautiful man, offering her a way to reclaim her power. Hand trembled as she extended it toward him. 6 months, she agreed, her voice barely a whisper. Gabriel's smile was pure predator as he clasped her hand. Welcome to my world, Querida. I promise you, it's going to be a hell of a ride. As their hands touched, Camila couldn't shake the feeling that she had just made a deal with the devil himself. 2 months into their arrangement, Camila stood on the balcony of Gabriel's penthouse overlooking the Chicago skyline, wearing a red designer gown that cost more than her previous monthly salary. The charity gala had been another flawless performance. She had played the role of devoted girlfriend with practiced ease, charming donors and disarming critics with her intelligence and grace. You were magnificent tonight, Gabriel said, appearing behind her with 2 glasses of wine. His bow tie was undone, hanging loosely around his neck, and his dark hair was slightly mussed from running his fingers through it. Just doing my job. Camila replied, accepting the wine, but not meeting his eyes. That was the problem. Somewhere between the 3rd business dinner and the 5th social event, the lines had begun to blur. The way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching, the protective edge in his voice when other men approached her, the gentle way he touched her when cameras weren't rolling. Is that all this is to you? Gabriel asked quietly. Job, Camila turned to face him, searching his expression for answers she was afraid to find. What else could it be? You made it very clear you don't believe in love. I don't, he said, but his voice lacked its usual conviction. I can't afford to. Why? The question escaped before she could stop it. Gabriel was quiet for a long moment, his green eyes distant. Because the last time I let someone close, she sold my business secrets to my biggest rival and nearly destroyed everything I had built. Love is a luxury men like me can't afford. The raw pain in his voice made her chest tighten. Gabriel, ... Don't, he said sharply. Then softer. Don't look at me like that, Camila. Like you care. We both know this is temporary. But as he said it, his thumb traced along her jawline with a tenderness that contradicted every word. Camila felt herself leaning into his touch, her carefully constructed walls crumbling. The moment shattered when Gabriel's phone rang. He answered it immediately, his expression darkening as he listened. When he demanded, "How much do they?" "No." Camila watched his face transform from vulnerable to coldly furious in seconds. Double the security. "I want to know who leaked this, and I want them destroyed." He hung up and turned to her, his mask firmly back in place. "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "Someone leaked details about our contract to the press. They know this relationship is fake." Camila felt the blood drain from her face. "How is that possible?" Gabriel's eyes were calculating, suspicious. Only 3 people knew the full terms. "You, me, and my lawyer. You think I did this?" Camila's voice rose in disbelief. "You think I would sabotage myself?" "I think you're still in love with Trevor Hamilton," Gabriel said coldly. "I think maybe he offered you something better too. Expose me." The accusation hit like a physical blow. "You bastard," After everything after these weeks together, you still think I'm some kind of scheming gold digger? I think you're a woman scorned who might do anything for revenge, Gabriel replied, his voice like ice. Even if it means burning down everything in your path. Camila stared at him, seeing clearly for the first time the man behind the charm. Ruthless, paranoid, incapable of trust. You're right about one thing, she said, her voice deadly quiet. I am a woman scorned, but not by Trevor, by you. She walked toward the door, but Gabriel's voice stopped her. Where are you going? Camila turned back, her eyes blazing with hurt and fury. To pack my things. Our contract is over. Camila, wait. ... But she was already gone, leaving Gabriel alone on the balcony with the taste of regret and the sinking realization that he had just destroyed the only real thing in his carefully controlled world. The investigative report hit the newsstands 3 days later. Gabriel Montenegro's private life exposed in ruthless detail. It's complete with financial records, business dealings, and most damaging of all, evidence of his fake relationship arrangement. But as Gabriel read through the article in his empty penthouse, one detail made his blood run cold. The source wasn't Camila. It was Marcus Rivera, his own lawyer, who had been feeding information to Trevor Hamilton for months. Gabriel's hand shook as he dialed Camila's number for the 15th time. It went straight to voicemail. Camila, please. I was wrong. I know who leaked the story, and it wasn't you. I need to explain... But she was gone. Vanished from Chicago. Her apartment empty? Her job resigned from... Even Lucia claimed not to know where she was. Meanwhile, across the city, Trevor Hamilton was holding a press conference with Victoria, spinning the Montenegro scandal into a narrative about dodging a bullet by leaving Camila. The media ate it up. It took Gabriel's entire network of private investigators 2 weeks to find her. Small marketing firm in Portland, Oregon, where she had taken a junior position under her mother's maiden name. When he appeared in her new office doorway, unannounced, she looked up from her laptop with eyes that held no warmth, only weariness. How did you find me? She asked quietly. I'm very good at finding things I've lost, Gabriel replied, stepping into the modest office that was a far cry from the luxury they had shared. Camila, I need you to listen to me. I'm done listening to you, Gabriel. You made your position very clear. It was Marcus, he said desperately. My lawyer. He's been working with Trevor for months, feeding him information about my business. My personal life, our arrangement. Trevor paid him $500,000 to destroy me. Camila's fingers stilled on her keyboard. What? Trevor never got over losing you. When he saw the photos of us together, saw how the media was calling. You an upgrade? He couldn't stand it. He hired Marcus to find dirt on me, to prove our relationship was fake so he could humiliate you all over again. The truth hit her like a tsunami. He wanted to hurt me twice. I gave him exactly what he wanted when I accused you, Gabriel. Said, moving closer. Camila, I'm sorry. I'm so damn sorry. I was terrified because somewhere along the way this stopped being an arrangement for me. It became real. You became real. Tears threatened to spill from her eyes. You destroyed us. Because you were scared? I destroyed us because I'm a coward who spent so many years protecting himself that I forgot how to trust the one person worth the risk. Gabriel knelt beside her chair, his voice breaking. I love you, Camila, but as a business deal, not as a convenience, but as the woman who made me remember what it feels like to be human. Gabriel. She whispered, her resolve cracking. I know I have no right to ask, he continued, but I'm asking anyway. Come back to me. Not for revenge, but because maybe we can build something real from the ashes of what we pretended to have. Camila looked at this powerful man kneeling before her, vulnerable and broken, and offering her his heart without conditions or contracts. Outside her window, rain began to fall on the Portland streets, washing the world clean. I love you too, she whispered, her hand touching his cheek. I think I fell for you the moment you offered me that devil's bargain. Gabriel pulled her into his arms, and this time when their lips met, there were no cameras, no audience, no pretense. Just two damaged souls finding their way back to each other through the wreckage of their fears. 6 months later, they returned. To Chicago together, not as business partners or fake lovers, but as equals who had chosen each other freely. Trevor Hamilton's empire crumbled under the weight of his exposed manipulations. And Victoria left him for someone with a bigger social media following. Gabriel and Camila built something better than either had imagined possible. Something real. Something that couldn't be bought, sold, or destroyed by the ghosts of their past. Love, they discovered, was the only business deal worth making. The end.